So I got color on everything that I wanted color on. I personally left some white spaces just for fun. It's always nice if we can, if it works in whatever we're painting, but it is nice actually to use the white of the paper sometimes with some white areas. You know, in traditional watercolor, we would never use white paint. You know, that's, you certainly can. It's, you know, it's not like you're going to be thrown in jail or anything like that. But traditionally, you know, you're not supposed to use white paint. You're supposed to use the white of your paper as your whites in watercolor. So I am feeling that down here, especially this one, really annoys me. It's too bright. It draws our eye there because it's just too bright of a yellow. So what I have here is I have a very, very thin wash of cobalt blue. Cobalt blue is my go-to color if I need to kind of push something back, because it's a very forgiving color, and I just use it in a see-through manner, so lots of water, and I just kind of run it over the offending area. Maybe this is also a little bright here. And it kind of, can you see how it didn't lose it, but it just kind of toned it down just a notch so that it's not so obtrusive and so in your face. So the thing you want to be careful about when you do this is you don't want to leave it, see, like if I just left it like this, it'll end up being some hard lines that I definitely do not want. So I just going to make sure that it just kind of dissipates into nothing there. And I think I'm good. Yeah, I think I'm good. All right. And then I can't use my pens right down here right now, but I can use them other places. So the pens I like to use, I mean, you can totally use Sharpie pens. My favorite pens are these here, the Micron pens. They're archival ink. And the reason I really, really like them is that they come in a number of sizes. So 0, 01, 08, 05, and that refers to the tip. That's another 05. So they come in a whole bunch of different 01. I already have that. The thinnest they have is, I think, here it is, 005, and it refers to millimeter, which I can, you know, coming from Europe, I'm familiar with that. So what I like to do when I'm doing pen work is I like to vary my lines, because if they're all like equal, I think they're a little bit more boring. So, and some of them will have dried out, and those need to go in the bin. This one is one of those, it's kind of dry. That was a 01. See, did I have another 01 somewhere? Here. Let's see if this one's better. So where did I put it? Out. You know, sometimes I don't, you know, I need to go through my pens. So first I'm just going to go and do the shapes, like the major shapes. And again, I don't want all the lines to be equal. So now I'm going to a 05.
Do you miss any time, or?
You can totally miss.
Okay.
And I'm just going to go in here. This one's also a little on the dry side. I'll probably find a lot of dots, but that's okay. So now I'm taking a 08.
Or you can run the white part too.
I'm going to go around here. And then my plan is for now, and I could totally change my mind, my plan is that I think I don't want to put anything inside the white areas. At least I don't want to start out doing that. But I might change my mind when I have more pen work on it. Let's try this 005. See,
Sharpies are okay? They don't...
Sharpies are okay. They're not archival,
No, they're not.
but, you know, they're going to, you know, I mean, all depends. If you're planning on selling them for a lot of money, I wouldn't use Sharpies. If you're just doing it for fun, I would not worry about it. You know, so that's up to you what your intentions are. So here's another one. And you can see I'm not super precise, but precise enough for my taste. Alrighty, so I'm gonna outline, I'm just doing that little one there. I'm gonna outline, and then, let's see, just wanna have a couple, there's a 03, see how that works. So then I'm going to start doing something else, like here. See what I'm doing? I'm making other little areas. And then I'm going to start doing, maybe I'll do like this. On this shape here. And then maybe here I'll do, what else can I do? Oh, maybe I'll do, there's no right or wrong. Here's whatever you come up with. As long as you keep repeating it, you know, it's going to look okay.
Do you miss any mountains? You know,
I could. I can't really, honestly, when I'm doing these, it's not like I have it all pre-planned.
Okay.
I do one area and then another area speaks to me and tells me what it needs. So here I didn't really like it quite like that. So then I'll go in and do a squiggly line the other way.
Huh.
Is this what you mean by putting in patterns, or is that?
Yeah,
something
that's the
okay.
patterns.
Okay.
That's the patterns. And there's no wrong or right pattern. And they do not have to be perfect.
And is the pattern to give it definition or shadow?
It's a pattern to just, you know, make it an interesting painting.
Okay.
That's basically what this is about. And that's why I use it a lot on paintings that I'm not really that in, you know, I haven't put a lot of detail. Like
Right.
here, I mean, if I wanted to leave it like this and not have pen work, I would have to go in and carve out and make some, you know, shadows and all that stuff. I don't really need that here. It's almost a waste of time if you do it in something like this. So here, this is telling me it wants to have a curved line like that. And then maybe it wants another line like this. And you can see you already have ideas to what you can do. And so here, maybe I want to do a thing like that.
But it's kind of random. It's not like a substitute for a
No,
shadow or
no,
anything.
no,
Okay.
this is random, but you can do it however you want. So I was thinking I'm going to leave the white patches without anything because I'm thinking they're snow patches, but I might decide that I think it'll look better if I put something in them, but right now I am planning on leaving them white. But there's no right or wrong. So then here, maybe I do that, and then I think I want to do something like this.
There's a clear glitter pen that might be interesting in the snow
Yes,
patches.
absolutely.
Oh, that's nice.
It's, you know, it's your imagination. There's no, as I say, there's no right or wrong. It's really your imagination, whatever you feel would be appropriate for your painting and whatever area you're working on. But can you see, by just repeating whatever it is you started with, just stick with it, and it turns into patterns. And
Okay. That's neat. Yeah, neat.
so I'm going to do more or less, I'm here because it's mountains like this. I'm thinking I like to have more edgy shapes. In other areas, you know, I might want to, not so much, but down here maybe,
Paint left-handed and draw right-handed?
I guess. I never think about it. I'm one of those casualties from
Ambidextrous.
from when it was not considered right to write with your left hand, so I'm confused, I guess. So here, what I'm thinking about here is they could almost be like fields, right?
Oh.
So maybe that's what I want to do. And let's take another pen and then do something else. So maybe I want to do something like this on every other.
Huh. And you don't have to do it all the way along. You can just maybe in 3s, 5s, or whatever.
Whatever you want to do, there's no right or wrong here. So I just look at it. I kind of go with my gut feeling, what I feel like doing. So maybe I'm thinking, oh, I should have one more here. There, I'll do one more. And then look at those sheets I gave you with all these pattern ideas and start thinking about. It really is one of those, start doing it and it'll come to you.
In there, get rid of the sins. Get rid of sins. You know.
Exactly, exactly. So, and I have extra pens, so you're more than welcome. And please, if you run across a dot, I mean, test it out, make sure it is a dot, and then if it is, toss it for me, please. Of course, I have all these pens that are maybe not all that great. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna find all my shapes, but with different thickness pens. So I'm just continuing finding all my little shapes and outlining them with the different thickness of pens, and I've sped it up a little bit here so it doesn't get too boring for you. Be your secret. So I'm just continuing filling out all the little areas, finding all my shapes, and I decided to leave my white areas without pattern, and then everywhere where I have, not everywhere actually, I left also some areas in the colored parts without a pattern, just for variety. I just go about it a little at a time, and it's the type of painting that I'll be working on for weeks on end. And it's always good to vary your line a little bit, so it's not, you know, precision is really highly overrated, which is a good thing for me because I'm not very good at precise. So I'm just continuing finding my shapes, outlining them with the different size pens. And as I mentioned earlier, I like to use the Micron pens because they come in a lot of different thicknesses of the nib, they're waterproof and they're archival and all that good stuff. So those are great to use for this type of painting. So you can see here I'm just continuing finding my shapes and breaking up the bigger shapes into smaller shapes using my Micron pens. And this painting style is something I use a lot of times for paintings that I haven't finished completely, or I don't find them very interesting, and they landed in my drawer with all the other unfinished paintings. And once in a while I'll go through my pile of unfinished paintings and sort them out. Some of them, you know, if they're like complete duds and the backside is clean, I'll just put them in a pile for paintings where I can just use the backside. And then a lot of them, you know, they could probably be made into decent watercolors if I spend some more time on it, but it might be demos that I have already painted several times, and I don't feel like finishing another similar painting. And then I will use them, as I do in this demo, as an underpainting for some Zentangle work. Now for some of the paintings that I put some pen work on, I don't limit myself to just using black ink pens. I will sometimes use colored gel pens. Sometimes I will use with gold and silver. The white can be nice on really dark areas.
So there's many ways of going with this, and I don't only do landscapes with this. I've done some bears that turned out really, really nice, and also some florals. So it's really limitless. And of course, you could also do it on abstracts. Of course you can. So it's just your own imagination that sets the limits. And I think it's one of those things, once you get started, one thing leads to another. And I hope you'll have some fun with trying out some of these methods on, maybe you have some paintings lying about that you're not too excited about. So, I mean, I think, what's the worst that can happen? I don't like it the way it is, and if I ruin it, I already didn't like it. And most of the time you'll find that you'll love what is happening. So don't hesitate. As you can see here, if I get an idea for a particular area, I just move down there and draw in what I'm thinking of at the time. I don't feel obligated to do everything in order. And in general, that's how I approach most of my painting, both when I'm doing pen work on it, but also when I'm painting. You don't have to finish it from, left-hand corner down to the right bottom corner. You can skip around a little bit, and that gives you a better overview of the totality of the painting. And now we'll jump to the finished piece, and you can see how it looks.
So I just wanted to show you that I finally finished this square Zen Mountainscape, and I'm just going to lift it up so you can kind of see some of the details. And it's ready for framing after I photograph it. I always photograph my artwork first and then I frame it. So I hope you have fun working on yours. I mean, it's time consuming, but it's fun, and it's one of those projects that I work on in between other projects when things have to dry and things like that. I pull this out and do a couple little areas, and then it might be put away again for a week or two, and then I pull it out again. So that's how this one has gone for me. But today I'm gonna call it finished. So happy painting.